Hey, so today after watching a video of another cancer survivor story, I remembered that I had also made several videos during my time in chemo and on my last day of chemo, just kind of telling what cancer was like, what chemo was like, things that I didn't expect, and just a little insight into what I was going through. So today I watched them for the first time. I really didn't even remember what I'd said. I was on so much medication and had such a hazy brain back then. It was like watching them for the first time for me. So I thought I'd do a little 6-month update. As you can tell, I have hair now. That's the biggest update. It's also curly now. That's new. So not only do I look like a boy, I have a curly mess I don't know what to do with. Please help. Anyone who knows what to do with short curly hair. No, so there's just a few things that I thought I would share with all of you about what cancer and that whole experience taught me. First, there's a lot of side effects they never mention anywhere in the catalogs about what cancer can do for you. First of all, I had no idea I was getting brain damage and that it would be incredibly difficult to think and remember my phone number or my zip code. And going back to work and going back to college was really hard. And I ended up having to quit my job because thinking was just too much. And school, I'm only taking one class now, and it's like everything I can do just to sit through an hour-and-a-half class and then take the tests. I get a few questions in, and my brain's like, yeah, let's not do this anymore. Let's do anything else but think. So that's one thing I didn't realize would happen, and especially go on for so long. Like I said, I'm at my 6-month mark now, and I can't remember my phone number half the time when I'm in a store or somewhere and people ask it, like to look up my thing. I don't know a lot of basic things I should know right now. The other thing that was really surprising and scary was that my hands and my feet would go numb. And no one had mentioned that. It's called neuropathy, no big deal. You just can't feel anything. For some people, go years, and other people, it never goes away. For me, it's getting a little bit better. When it gets cold is when I feel it the most, especially in my hands. My feet are really bad. Like, I can't wear high heels. My balance is off. I can't run on a treadmill or anything where I actually would need to feel my feet. Sometimes I just trip over things because I don't realize how my feet are when I'm walking. If I bump my toes into anything like a corner or a chair, it hurts so bad because then I could actually feel it, and it's just like excruciating pain. And the rest of the time, they're really tingly and numb, like I've been sitting cross-legged, and they're waking up, but they never wake up. And initially, when it first started happening, I thought I had some sort of a blood clot and my legs were going to fall off. And I called the medical assistant in a panic, and she was like, oh, no, that's really good. It was one of those things I really wish I'd known ahead of time so I wouldn't freak out and think my legs were falling off. The other thing was you get weird spots on your skin that haven't gone away. It looks like I'd left a Band-Aid on my skin for months and just kind of melted in there in some spots, just like this weird outline of a square, you know. No big deal having that, like on your shoulders, your back, your arms. I also don't tan, really, now. If I go out, some sunblock, I look exactly the same, even like tanning indoors just to get a little color so I don't look like zombie apocalypse. Doesn't really work on my skin now. I don't really know why. My doctor was surprised by that. He said that's usually the opposite happens for the chemos I was on. Another thing I learned is that people that you used to have in your life kind of drifted apart from, especially if it wasn't under the best terms, they feel really guilty you're dying, or they think you're going to die. So they want to pretend to be super nice and like check up on you on Facebook and friend you again, and like randomly text you and tell you keep kicking cancer's ass, you're doing so good. And it's like, I haven't talked to you in a really long time for a reason. So that's one of the things. I try to be nice to everyone that's approached me, being kind about my cancer situation, but it's honestly really annoying to have all these people that you don't communicate with anymore, feeling guilty and trying to be your best friend again because now you're sick. Other thing you learn is that the people in your life, they either step up and they're a warrior with you through it all from day one to the last day and beyond, or they pack their bags and they leave because they can't deal with it because it's too hard. A lot of my friends, I realize, have had mothers that died of breast cancer, and it was really hard seeing a friend of theirs go through the same situation, knowing like their mother had lost her battle to that when they were a child and so forth. So some people just aren't strong enough to deal with a friend having cancer, as sad as that is. If you hear weird noises, that's my dog drinking water. It's not me. The other thing is there's so many worse moments in your life once you realize, or you're told, you don't realize it, once you're told you have cancer, it's like you can't even keep track of all of these horrible moments. You think, this is the worst moment of my life, and it's never going to get any worse than this. This is like the absolute worst thing that'll ever happen to me. But you get surprised, and then there's another one a week later or a month later, and they keep coming, and you just keep thinking like, wow, I had really thought finding out I had cancer was going to be the worst thing that happened to me. And then you think, oh, wow, okay, I think this moment when I have to tell my parents I have cancer is the worst moment of my entire life, my entire being. Then getting a tour of the cancer center where you're going to have your chemo treatments. That really felt like probably my absolute worst moment. Those people, they looked so sick and like they were dying, and it was so depressing in there and so miserable. And I was just thinking, I don't feel sick. I don't feel like I'm dying, at least. And it didn't really seem like I belonged there. Like that wasn't where I was supposed to be. It was terrifying that I was going to be one of those people in the chairs with tubes coming out of my chest. Other thing was having this disgusting port in my chest. It's out now, but I have 2 scars from it and this nice weird purple circle thing that just won't go away. That was really disgusting. And the first time I was able to take the bandage off it, I couldn't even look at it. I had to have my dad take the bandage off and tell me what it looked like and how bad it was. And he kept reassuring me it wasn't that bad, and that, I had to remember it was still new wound from surgery just a few days before, and it had stitches that looked kind of gross, and it wasn't that bad. And I'm 27 years old. I broke down crying hysterically for quite a while, through a good crying fit over just looking at the port in my chest, because it was so grotesque and scary looking, having something sticking out of my skin like that, and then knowing I was going to have a scar. Every single person I ever talked to forever, unless I'm wearing a turtleneck, they're going to see it and stare at it, and trust me, they do, especially when I had it in my chest still. It was, and being a girl, you're used to people looking a little downward your breast when they're talking to you, but instead this was like a really gross kind of like looking in this area, looking away, looking back, like not sure if they could ask me what it was, and trying to be polite, but they could tell I was sick, and it was really awkward. That was definitely an elongated worst moment until I was able to have that out. I think I got it out in October, maybe November. I'm not really sure. Can't remember anything. Chemo brain. So that was quite an experience. Not only was I bald, I was also gross, having stuff sticking out of my skin. So when I would go to the gym, I had to have stuff taped all over it because I couldn't sweat on it or get any water in it when I showered. So a lot of people, they just stared, just trying to figure out what was going on up there. And obviously once I lost my hair, people could tell I was sick. But oh my God, my cat just won't stop. Okay, so what else was it? Oh, people staring. That just wasn't fun. If you see someone that's bald with tubes sticking out of their chest, they're going through chemo, and it sucks enough without being felt, like a freak of nature or like you're a zoo animal. And I didn't realize how bad it was until I went home in September after I was done with chemo. And I noticed how much it bothered my mom seeing people stare at me like that. And she kind of, wanted to like yell at people for me, until I told her, I don't even look, I wouldn't even look at the people. I would just, tunnel vision, look straight ahead, wouldn't, I try not to take notice of it, but it didn't feel good being stared at that. So if you see someone going through it, leave them alone. Let them walk around Target in peace. You don't have to stare at them. The other thing was for kids. They were very curious by it. They didn't know what was going on or why I looked like a boy, and they would say that very loudly, usually to their parents, and that was kind of awkward for them. But I tried to always explain that I was just sick, and try to explain it as well as I can to like a little tiny human that you don't want to scare and you don't know also, so you don't want to get too personal. But it was really hard. Explaining that to my cousin's kids who were really seeing me for the first time. They were so little the last time they'd see me that they didn't really remember me, and so trying to explain why I was sick and bald and had this weird gross thing on my chest, it was different, but I think they understood enough, and so just do what you can for that. What else? Can't really think of anything else. Cancer taught me a lot of things, though. It really put things in perspective. When you think you're having a bad day, just be glad you're not sitting there getting chemo pumped into your chest. And now, 6 months out of it, my bad days are just feeling a little tired and wanting to hang out and watch TV and watch movies. But they're not really bad days in comparison to what I went through before. So I'll take it. I'll take a movie day over what I had before. If you've seen the other videos, it sucked. So if you guys have any questions about what it's like or any advice, or I don't know, I'm making these hoping that I can help someone else that's going through a similar situation, or something. I hope that there's some sort of a positive that can come out of my horrifically horrible, miserable situation. So if you know of a positive or something good I could do with all this information I now have, being a cancer survivor, please let me know. Write a comment or something. If you want to see another video about something else, just let me know. All right, I'll try to do another video with another update soon. Take care.